All right, the Bucks. It is talking Buccaneers with me, Fumane Previews, before Cape Town City versus Orlando Pirates, or Orlando Pirates versus Cape Town City. Seeing that the Buccaneers will be home, finally. It's been a long time coming. We've played so many away games. And being someone who follows the Buccaneers, well, I almost said home and away, just home. Would love to follow them away. But following these boys home, every home game, it's always quite a nice outing for us. But even more so this one with something so big to play for. I don't think you need me to bid it up. You already know it. We're going for that second spot in the DStv Premiership so we can qualify for that spot in the CAF Champions League. And 3 p.m. kickoff. These can tend to be a bit sluggish. But every time that we've played in the last few games, every time that we've played at home, the Buccaneers have got a bit of a vibe and an atmosphere that we do, but it's always at night. So every time that we're winning or going for a win, if the score is maybe a draw, the support has been massive. It's been so outstanding, something very impressive to experience for those of you that don't get the opportunity to watch the Buccaneers live. It's such a, I'm sure you can even feel it from watching from television, but it's so palpable when you are in the stadium. Got a bit of a culture of switching on our torches, I don't know where that came from, but it's just a nice thing to experience and be a part of. And I think we ought to try and recreate that atmosphere before we play this match, because 3 p.m. kickoffs, playing against a good team as Cape Town City, or I believe anyway, good ball playing side, they could frustrate us. And if we wait for our team to go ahead to create an atmosphere, it might turn out not so great. So I think that the fans got to be up for it. We've got to be, loud, cheering, supporting. Even if some players that we don't particularly appreciate in our team are playing, we've got to be behind them, because that's just one of the other things with Buccaneers fans is we do turn on our own sometimes, which is not so great. But I think this is a big, it's a spectacle. Doesn't need me to bid it up. We're coming up against a good coach in Eric Tinkler, former coach. I remember him, I've actually got a not so great memory of him getting sacked around, might be mistaken, was 2014, 15, maybe around that time. But just a wonderful coach, wonderful guy. I think his Cape Town City side is playing great football. So I do want to mention that it's one of the 5 remaining tests that we've got in the league. And I really think it's the biggest one of the lot. Maybe arguably the Amazulu one, the last game of the season at home. Some would say that that's probably the toughest one, but Cape Town City is a tough test. They sit 5th on the log, just 8 points behind us. 8 points is not a lot in the DStv Premiership. I think it's so easy to lose games in this league, even when you're a big team. So it shows kind of how they've, the season that they've had, sitting 5th. Maybe they might not be impressed with it, but looking at them and some of the teams around, except Kaizer Chiefs, there are a lot of good teams in the league. So, around us, there are teams that are, or rather, let me say, there are teams that are somewhat doing well for themselves. They're playing well, some defying expectations. Richards Bay was one of those, though they've fallen off the wagon. But there are a lot of teams that are doing quite okay, and maybe it's a reflection of we're not doing as good as we could be, in that we are in a conversation with some teams that we shouldn't be, like Kaizer Chiefs especially, but even some other teams. And the biggest one of which is SuperSport United. But they fumbled the bag recently, dropping points. And a lot of Buccaneers that I've spoken to and seen some of the talks around, the conversations that we have online. A lot of people think it's in our hands now. Theoretically it is, but football is not played theoretically. We've got to go out there and play against a good Cape Town City side, which did a number on us earlier this year, winning 2-1 against us at Cape Town, and also managing to sell Craig Martin to us. But I'm joking. Actually, I might want to have a conversation around that sometime in the future. Craig Martin, hearing rumors about he might be sent back to Cape Town City. I've spoken a little bit about it on this podcast, on this platform, just how we sold Wade Euster, a right back, even Spesi Ndlovu, who was good enough cover for me, Abel Mabaso in that position. And then we ended up going to go and buy Craig Martin. And here we are sending him back now. He's been AWOL. I'm not saying it's from his side, but he's just been missing. We've been playing a left back at right back, and Craig Martin's just been nowhere. So just an interesting thing for me there. But no disrespect to Craig Martin. Has had a good career. I'm happy for him, working for his family, playing football. I would presume something he really loves to do. But he's playing against this team tomorrow. Looking very excited. I think, before I get into the lineups and stuff, I just want to reiterate that Cape Town City is a good side. We ought not to take them for granted or disrespect and think we're just going to turn up and win the game. I think it has to be a fight, especially from the boys, and us, the fans, have already mentioned. We've got to fight for the points. We've got to go out there and earn the points to be ahead of SuperSport United. We win this one, we are 2 points ahead. We've got some more points to fight for. It's not just a case of rocking up. I know it seems like it. The boys have done a great job so far these last few games in, kind of grinding out results. And I spoke about how we are now a well-oiled machine, this Buccaneers team. We're becoming something of a well-oiled machine that's drill to just grind out results. That's what we do. We grind out results, whether it be ugly. Last game we won in penalties, but we won. So you've got to give credit. It's that time of the season now where it's like we are a bit looking at the team, kind of how we're playing, judging the head coach a little bit. But the most important thing is we've got to get the results. I think it would be nice to go, we play nice, but if we don't qualify for CAF Champions League next year, then what's the point? So I think we've just got to wing it now, get the team that gets us the points out there. And I'll get to speaking about the team very soon. But Cape Town City, once again, good side, good coach, ball playing side. I'll say a bit about that soon. But last few head-to-heads, they tend to be they are a team that tends to give us problems. Last 5 head-to-heads, drew 3, won 1, lost 1 against them. They've had a good run, well, not so much. An okay run. In their last 5 games, I think they've drawn 3 and won 2, and one of those draws was a 0-0 draw against Mamelodi Sundowns. Had a few red cards. They will be without Thabo Notata someone I think I deem as one of the people that's very crucial to the way that they play. They will be without him. It's hard to also think about or pin down what kind of system Eric Tinkler will want to play tomorrow, because he switches quite a bit. Sometimes they play a 3 at the back. They've played a 4 at the back. Every time that I've watched them, they've played a 4 at the back or a 3 at the back, 5-man midfield with the wing, counting the wing back. So a 3 midfield, 2 forwards. Kind of hard to pin down. But one thing I know for sure they will do is they'll get the ball on the carpet and play it. And this is important because I have the view that we struggle, we do well, surprisingly, or counterintuitively, we do well against the sides that want to be expansive and play football. And it's something that I've kind of just noticed as the season has gone on, that Pirates really do well. So you think about teams like small teams like Kaizer Chiefs. So small teams like Kaizer Chiefs will want to play us on the counter, and we've struggled to win against those teams. However, the teams that want to sort of be expansive and be brave and play against us, those are the kind of teams that we usually sort of do well against, right? So I think it's no brainer. It's easy. It's because Pirates are just one of, if not the best, the deadliest counter-attacking team in the league. I think the speed of Saleng has just been revolutionary to Pirates. I think he's one of those game-changing players for Pirates this season, especially starting around October when we started seeing him, or maybe November, something like that. He's just revolutionized the kind of team that we are. I think we would counter-attack here and there. We'd play, even though we weren't so good at it beginning of the season. But ever since we've unveiled our last season signing, who's returned from loan, Monapule Saleng from Swallows. I think he's kind of changed the team that we are. Lodge has changed it recently in that we've kind of also started to impose ourselves together with Kabelo Dlamini and one of the strikers between Erasmus and Chukamanja, in that we try and play some more, especially around in front of the box. You know, we try and find players in those positions that where we can hurt the opposition, which is amazing. And I think Lodge is the stalwart for that sort of thing. But I do still think that given the opportunity, given the chance, we are a good counter-attacking team. More especially when we had people like Lepasa to play with Saleng up front. But still, I've seen some goals that we've scored this season. I remember just a goal against Moroka Swallows where I saw one of the best attacking football that we've played this season. Just, I think, if not 3 out of 4 of the goals there were just deadly counter-attacks where we just kind of turned, passed the ball there, players in the box, goal. Pass the ball, players in the box, goal again. Saw it against All Stars. I know a lot of people are disrespectful towards All Stars, but they showed us that they are a good enough team to keep Pirates at bay for some 60 minutes in that match. But yeah, when we started scoring, it's just, we saw the quality, just how good we are when we turn the opposition around and make them face their own goal. And this is what I think we can do well in this fixture against Cape Town City. I think they will try and be expansive. They'll try and attack us and play in that midfield. But I think how we can hurt them, or how I foresee that we will hurt them, is when we make them turn and face their own goal. We're just hard to stop. We're just that team. We've got hard players to stop, like Lodge and Saleng and Erasmus in what he does and kind of dropping into those pockets and playing people in. And if we've got Dlamini firing, we've got Lodge firing, Saleng firing, I think that's where it hangs for Orlando Pirates. When you've got our front 4 players firing, we've got a very stable base. And maybe I should get into the lineup now. We've got a very stable base, which I think the head coach will want to play again. Though I'm worried, I don't know so much if Thapelo Xoki will be available, who hopped off in our previous game. Don't know if it was because of injury. I suspect it was. We ended up putting Tetwa on for him. So I don't know if Xoki will be available fitness-wise for this one. I've got another thing that I wonder if will happen. I'll say it just now. Bear with me. But so maybe we might start with a centre-back pairing of Sibisi and Tetwa if Xoki doesn't make it for this one, because Nda has also been away. I don't know if it's injury, but there's talks around he might leave Pirates, sadly enough. But if it's for a better move for his career, well done to him, happy for him. However, it's sad that we don't play some of our best players like Nda. But yeah, we might see a centre-back pairing of Mtetwa and Sibisi, and I think the captain will play definitely at left-back. I wonder if we will be playing Shandu, because there was definitely a time this season where Marco was sitting on the bench and we were playing Shandu or Munyani, especially when we were playing the 3 at the back system with the wing backs. Marco used to sit on the bench that time, would play Shandu or Munyani on the right flank. So I wonder if we'll be playing with one of those. Munyani, we've seen, he sits on the bench even when he's available for Marco. So the conversation is really around, is he going to play Shandu there? Because he's brought him on later in the game. And surprisingly enough, he was pulling Maela and sending Marco to the left, which personally for me, Fumane, I think that we should be playing Marco on the left, Shandu on the right. I think Maela's a decent enough player, really. And, seeing that the team has been winning, it's hard to kind of make those points. But and also you don't want to destabilize a winning team, right? You don't want to change a lot with a winning team. So I think the head coach just wants to keep the momentum going and maybe start again next season, finding his best team. But for me, I like Marco on the left. because he can cross them first time. Where on the right, he's got to cut back into his stronger foot, which eats up a bit of seconds, gets the organization back organized of the opposition, right? So I like to see him on the left. Shandu on the right, I think, is a decent player, a good player, a Pirates player, I think. He's very capable player on the right when he's firing. He gives us good width. He's got the energy to run up and down. So I think the conversation is really seeing that the coach was trying to introduce him back into the lineup. Is he going to start with Shandu or the same back four that we've seen? Won't be surprised if we start with the same back four. Shaino obviously in goal, and then Maela on the left, Mtetwa. I've already made that point. Mtetwa and Sbisi centre back, and then Marco at right back, and then obviously he's trusted two double pivots of Tim and Munari who've done well for themselves. No reason to change that, I don't think, except if he's trying to try something new. Maybe if he's trying to dominate Cape Town City, then he might throw someone on like Ndlondlo, but I don't see him doing that. I think the trust for Ndlondlo has really dwindled since he signed for us. He started off on a real high, and maybe a few bad games here and there, or a few good games for some players have brought him down the pecking order, obviously. Tim and Munari are high up there. Very good, very honest workers, very honest in their work. They work hard, they do the dirty work, and they give us the stability to build from, going forward. So, and then we've got our front four who are almost like loose horses. They can go where they want. We've seen it, how they'll swap positions. Lodge, Dlamini, Saleng, Chukamanja up front, or Erasmus. But when we've got Erasmus, he's almost always the 9. But when we've got Chukamanja, you might see him on the left sometimes, someone popping up at the front. So almost always switching positions, that front four. I think that's how we'll play. Like I said, I think it's a case of just getting the result. If we don't play the best, I don't see us playing the best football against Cape Town City. I really don't. I think they're going to have moments, at least moments, of dominating us. Because I really don't think that we are a dominating team yet. We've played some good stuff, especially up front, but we don't dominate matches yet. If we're entirely honest, Buccaneers, we don't dominate matches yet. That's something we still need to grow in, especially maybe we'll see next season. But I think right now we've found a winning formula. We've found a way to win games, which is important, right? It's important. I'm not trying to downplay that. It's very important to find ways to win football games, and that's what we found. And I think it's going to be a case of that tomorrow, together with the fans supporting the team, loud, behind them, cheering them on, even when things aren't going our way. This is something that's very important. Even when things aren't going our way, Buccaneers, we've got to learn to support the team. And I think that's what it'll take tomorrow, because early kickoff, we know it's sunny. The players might be a bit, it's going to be humid in the atmosphere. They might be sweating, all of that. I mean, they always sweat, but you know what I mean. It's humid weather is sometimes not the most amazing weather to play football. If you have played football, you know that. We've got to be behind them. And I think the way to win this game is good. I think it's going to be, I see this being one of those where Saleng will pop up with a goal, or Lodge. This is what they've done. These two players, and Dlamini lately has played some good stuff here and there, but these two players have been our go-to. Credit to people like Erasmus. I think he's got a lot of criticisms for goals. And I just think that people fail to realize that he has adapted his game to being a bit of a 9.5, a bit of a 10. But again, if Erasmus is that kind of player, I made this point in my previous podcast that you've got to have players that are willing to get in the box then. You've got to have someone who's going to be your box player, because Saleng is almost out wide, getting involved deep sometimes, and you've got Lodge, who's that kind of player as well, and then you've got Dlamini, who will also come deep. And so if you've also got Erasmus coming deep, then you lack the numbers in the box. So even if you keep the possession and you move the opposition around, you don't create chances because no one's in the box to finish them. I've seen cases where people like Otto, when he was playing, will cross the ball into the box and there's just no one there. I think, once again, it's going to be a case where we will win through like counterattacks, maybe people like Saleng having a good game like he has this season. Every time when we've needed someone to step up, he's been that guy. Lodge also recently has been that guy for us. So I think the momentum is what might get us the win, the support, the fact that we're home and stuff. But I'm looking forward to it. I'll be at the stadium. Hopefully I'll be back here after tomorrow talking about another past test. But until then, up the mighty Bucks. Cheers.